So when I first read Robert Frost's Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening, and this was in high school, it was, appreciated by, its beauty and simplicity, but I didn't really feel it yet. And at the time, it was just a well-written poem about a man struggling in snowy woods. But years later, when I became a mother for the first time, and I was struggling through postpartum depression, um, suicidal thoughts, and quite frankly, being trapped in a failing marriage, this poem became something else entirely to me. It became like a mirror. It was comforting, and it was definitely a quiet call to keep going. Frost and his imagery is deceptively simple, which is intentional. He sets the speaker alone in a quiet, snow-filled forest, pause between, the world of society, the village, and the deeper pull of nature or something beyond. It's winter, the woods are still, and it becomes clear that what this speaker is really facing isn't just what he perceives to be a lovely scene, but a moment of reckoning, right? Like the snow and the silence and the darkness. These aren't just seasonal details, they're symbols of death, escape, surrender. And when I read this poem again, during those sleepless nights, holding a crying newborn, just utterly exhausted, emotionally abandoned, I understood what Frost meant. That moment of stopping, the way the woods called to him, it felt very familiar. And I had also felt the temptation to give in to stillness, to let go of the pressure, the responsibility. And Frost gave that feeling a name, a shape. One line that really haunted me was he gives his harness bells a shake to ask if there is some mistake. So about the horse, right? Even the horse, the voice of reason, the expectations of normal life is confused by the pause that the speaker is taking. And in my own life, I felt that same confusion from other people. They didn't know what to expect from me. They, with my emotions just all over the place, they didn't know what to make of my sadness, my distance, pushing other people away. But I wasn't lost, right? I was simply stopped and contemplating, surviving. The only other sound is the soft sweep of wind and snow. So a peaceful kind of silence in that. In my darkest moments, this felt like a strange kind of comfort. And of course, like most people, I think the fourth and final stanza is what stayed with me the most. These woods are lovely, dark, and deep, but I have promises to keep, and miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep. So that repetition, it felt like an echo in my mind, and I believe that's Frost's intention to reassert, that even in your pain and the people you have depending on you, that there's honor in that and an honor in your responsibility. It was a reminder for me that I had a child depending on me. I had promises to keep, even if the woods looked so inviting. And Frost doesn't glorify struggle, but he does honor it. He acknowledges that sometimes we do want to stop. We do feel alone and tempted by peace, but ultimately he gives the speaker and the audience, all of us, the strength to choose responsibility and to keep going. One of the reasons that this poem continues to just resonate across decades, ages, experiences is because it does speak to something universal. Who hasn't felt overwhelmed? Who hasn't longed for peace, for stillness, even for just a moment, right? Frost doesn't really dramatize this feeling, he simply names it. He gives space for it. The woods become a metaphor for the gentle allure of rest, of giving in, of stepping away from life's relentless demands. And whether you're like a parent, a student, a caregiver, or simply someone navigating a difficult time, this poem will meet you where you are. It reminds us that while we may pause, while we may feel the weight of solitude or despair, we're not alone in that feeling because others have also felt that. So we're never truly alone. And most importantly, it quietly and softly affirms that we can still go on. This poem didn't save me, right? But it understood me. And when I couldn't find the words to explain how I felt, when I felt like I was frozen, like that lake, in the darkest night of my life, Robert Frost gave me this image of a man stopping, breathing, and then carrying on. It reminded me that it's okay to pause, it's okay to feel overwhelmed, but it also reminded me that, I have the strength to take that next step forward. So in conclusion, this poem really did change, how I view the world and poetry in general. And here I just kind of included a little doodle that I made many, many years ago, and you can even see my initials there, the SLA, before my last name was changed. I read it pretty obsessively for a while, but that's it. Thank you.